I think the message of technology innovation is an overwhelmingly positive one, and it's easy to criticize some of the effects of this, but the fact of the matter is that in the last 20 or 30 years, the globalization that we're all part of has brought a couple billion people from pretty significant policy to what we would think of as lower middle class or middle class lives. The investment, especially in countries in Asia and so forth, that you're seeing will continue that for a very long time. If you look at the rate of innovation in our sort of lifetimes, we'll go from a very small number of people having access to the world's information to virtually everyone in the world having access to all the world's information and in their own language. If you look at these devices, this of course is my ad for Google, the Android phone and then the new Nexus 7 tablet. With these devices, you have access to supercomputers that can do the kind of knowledge and analysis that was incredible to think about in terms of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and those sorts of things. And these have transformed our world. If you think about sort of going forward, what happens? Well, Moore's Law has not been repealed, and Moore's Law will continue for a while longer. The physicists are still working.
Just explain to the few people in the world, in the audience who don't know about Moore's Law.
Moore's Law, stated originally by Gordon Moore in 1965, and as restated, is roughly the transistor densities double every 2 years. And it looks like there's another decade or so of that before physical limits are encountered. And again, people are working very hard. So that tells you basically that these devices improve in price performance by a factor of 10 or 20 very rapidly. And there are other things involving fiber optics and so forth which are even more accelerating, storage, et cetera, and that's going to continue. So the important thing here is that we have an opportunity now to ultimately end up with devices and knowledge sources which are the perfect buddy. Right? They can answer questions that you have. They can suggest things for you and understand what you might want to do to help you through life, to help you with medicine. If you add that and then you take a look at what's going on with data analytics, take a look at the sort of data analytics that's going on around medicine, genetics, and unlocking the human genome and the other kinds of genetic sequencing people can do, the explosion of data that we can now reduce in order to try to understand the combinatorics of disease, I think we can look forward to a world, at least for people who have a certain amount of income, extraordinarily long lives that are very productive with an enormous amount of information. And for those, and that pace, in my view, is accelerating. If you take a look at the folks who are not so fortunate, people in the developing world, for them, the world gets better too. It doesn't get better as much as our world does, but they get access to the things that they've wanted for decades that they cannot have today.